Excuse me, what time is it?
Es ist 3:30.
So is that 3:30 or 4:30? Let's find out. If you're new here, my name is Mando and I'm a German teacher. Welcome to day 4 of our 40-day challenge where we're going to learn German in 40 days. In this video, you are going to learn how to tell time in German. Before we move on any further, let's take a look at some important vocab. Die Uhr, the clock, or o'clock, die Uhrzeit, the clock, time. Die Zeit, the time. Wie spät ist es? What time is it? Wie viel Uhr ist es? What time is it? Es ist, it is. Vor, before or to. Nach, after or past. Halb, half. Viertel, quarter. Die Stunde, the hour. Die Minute, the minute. There are 2 ways to tell time, the official and the unofficial way. The official way is used to avoid miscommunication. You might hear it or see it on the radio, on TV, or even emails, and generally written communication. In today's digital world, with a lot of digital clocks around us, you might hear this official way in a lot of everyday spoken conversations as well, especially amongst the younger generation. The official way does not relate the time to a circle. You simply read the time and place the word Uhr in between the hour and the minutes. Let's take a look at what that means. Wie spät ist es? 7:30. We will start with es ist. That means it is. Then we will simply read the numbers. And we will place the word Uhr in between the hour and the minutes. 7 Uhr 30. 4:50. Es ist 4 Uhr 50. How about this next one? 12:45. Es ist 12 Uhr 45. Excellent. All right, this next one, 1 o'clock. Here you can simply just say es ist eins, or you can say es ist 1 Uhr. Next to the word Uhr, we simply remove the letter S and the eins. At this point, I want to point out that Germans and a lot of people from Europe really prefer the 24-hour clock. So from now on, you might see some examples from the 24-hour clock. Next up, 19:25. That means 7:25 p.m. You just simply read the numbers. Es ist 19 Uhr 25. 22:05. That is 10:05 p.m. Es ist 22 Uhr 5. 15:15. That is 3:15 p.m. Es ist 15 Uhr 15. What about this example? Here you can either say es ist 0 Uhr or es ist Mitternacht. All right, as a recap, the official way to tell time is used to avoid miscommunication. It does not relate the time to a circle. And it's very simple, as the only thing that it requires is literally just reading the numbers and putting the word Uhr in between the hour and the minutes. At this point, as practice, I would like for you to pause this video and try to write down the time in German using the official way. The unofficial way on the other hand, is used in a lot of everyday spoken conversations. This unofficial way to tell time relates the time to a circle. Therefore, we use words such as vor, nach, halb, or Viertel. This way might be a little bit more challenging, especially for people who might have a hard time reading an analog clock. But trust me, I will try to explain this as simply as possible. All right, we are going to start looking at this clock. The short hand is pointing at 3 and the long hand is pointing at 12. That means it's 3. Wie spät ist es? Es ist 3. Here we're not going to use the word Uhr. Next clock. The short hand is pointing at 3. The long hand is pointing at 1. That means that it is 5 minutes after 3. In this unofficial way, we are going to start with the minutes and then we're going to end with the hour. We will say, es ist 5 Minuten nach 3. It is 5 minutes after 3. The word Minuten is not necessary. You could also say, es ist 5 nach 3. On this clock, the short hand is pointing again at 3. The long one is pointing at 2. That means that it is 10 minutes after 3. Es ist 10 nach 3. Now the long hand is pointing at 3. This clock shows 15 minutes past 3, which means that it's been an entire quarter after 3. So for this one, you can either say, es ist 15 nach 3, or you could say, es ist Viertel nach 3. Next one, 20 minutes after 3. Es ist 20 nach 3. 25 minutes after 3. Es ist 25 nach 3. Es ist 30 nach 3? Nope, we cannot do that. The half in German has to have its own way. And that is by using the word halb. At this point, I like to give you a tip. Germans like to see a cup halfway full and not halfway empty. If we were to apply this rule to the time, then the half would be connected to the upcoming time and not the previous time. Es ist 3:30. So this time is 3:30 and not 3:30. Also, please remember that the only word you need here is the word halb. You don't need any other words such as vor or nach. Now the long hand is pointing at the number 7, which means that it's 25 minutes until it becomes 4. Es ist 25 vor 4. Similar to the previous one, es ist 20 vor 4. The next clock shows us that it is 15 minutes before 4 or a quarter before 4. Therefore, you'd say, es ist 15 vor 4 or es ist Viertel vor 4. Then we have, es ist 10 vor 4, es ist 5 vor 4 and es ist 4. Wonderful. Now, for anyone who's very good at telling time and wants to challenge themselves to go one step forward, I'm going to teach you something that's a little bit more difficult. Listen carefully. For only the bottom part of the clock, we like to connect the time to the half. What does that mean? When the long hand is pointing at number 4, number 5, number 7, or number 8, there is another way to tell time by using the middle as a reference point. Maybe that sounds very complicated, but it's actually not. Let's take a look at this example. This is 20 minutes after 3. Es ist 20 nach 3. But it's also 10 minutes before 3:30. How did we say 3:30 earlier? Es ist 3:30. That's right. Now, how do you say it is 10 minutes before 3:30? Es ist 10 vor 3:30. Excellent. Next one. 25 minutes after 3. Es ist 25 nach 3. Or 5 minutes until 3:30. Es ist 5 vor 3:30. Now it's been 5 minutes since 3:30. So you can either connect the time to the top. Es ist 25 vor 4. Or es ist 5 nach 3:30. And last one, 20 minutes before 4. Es ist 20 vor 4. Or es ist 10 nach 3:30. It is 10 minutes after 3:30. This way might be a little bit more challenging, but it really shows us that the time is circular, and if you're reading the time from a clock that is an analog clock, you are able to make those little changes and connect the time to the top or to the middle, which makes it very, very interesting. So as a recap of what we've said, the unofficial way to tell time is used in spoken conversations. It relates the time to a circle, and it uses words such as vor, nach, viertel, or halb. It does not use the word Uhr. Yeah, so please forgive this clock, but I wanted us to take a look at it so that we can recap what we just talked about. On this side of the clock, you are able to use the word nach, which means after or past. On this side of the clock, you're able to use the word vor, which means before or to. When you get to a quarter, either on this side or this side, you can either say 15 nach or viertel nach. And over here, you can say either 15 vor or viertel vor. When you get to the half, remember to look the clock halfway full and not halfway empty. So that means that you should always try to connect the half to the upcoming hour and not to the previous hour. Last but not least, when you get to the bottom part of the clock, you can also connect the time to the middle. So you can say it is 10 minutes, 5 minutes before the half, or it is 5 minutes, 10 minutes after the half. Now, as practice, please pause this video and write down these following times the unofficial way. Please don't forget to write down your answers in the comment section so I'm able to see them as well. At this point, you have completed day number 4 of our challenge that we're gonna learn German in only 40 days. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit subscribe so you do not miss our next lesson, and I can't wait to see you then. Auf Wiedersehen!